so it says Teyana Taylor, right? Teyana Taylor has secretly filed for divorce from IMAN.He, the ex-NBA player. She said he's a jealous narcissist. She said he was gaslighting her. He was emotionally, I guess, damaging her. He said that, she said that she would go out and they would want to take pictures with her because she do her own thing. She do music. She's like a model. So, she's basically saying that he's a narcissist and that he was, that's their family and stuff like that. You know, I try to stay away from this topic because so many people use the word incorrectly, as well as they're not self-aware and they don't truly know what it is. Now, I can't take either side because I don't know. I wasn't in their relationship. Just like when I dated a narcissist, or when I realized my mother was a narcissist. You can't really explain this to people on the outside because narcissists have like the greatest facade and they show up in a very morally sound way. So I can't really take her side or take his side, but what I can say subjectively is I can look at both sides and determine my own, opinion on it or whatever the case may be, right? So one thing I will say is that in this generation, it is very common for people to come out and say so and so did this or so and so did that. I'm not gonna lie, it's very common for women to do that. I will also say that a lot of women lie about these situations. You feel what I'm saying? I was in a relationship for I'm not gonna say how long because it's going to expose who I'm talking about. But the person went out and said that I abused them online, on TikTok, YouTube, not YouTube, TikTok, Facebook, and I've never hit a woman in my life. You feel what I'm saying? I've also been slandered by my own mother, who was a narcissist. So sometimes narcissists also call other people narcissists, and that's called projection. So I know a lot of people like to take the woman's side right away because she's like the more vulnerable one, or whatever the case may be. Men are physically stronger, or men are known to do weird stuff like the P Diddy situation, stuff like that. But we gotta look at every situation case by case to really determine, what I'm saying, who's in the wrong, who's in the right, whatever the case may be. But in this situation, I don't think you can tell. I don't think in nobody's situation you can really, specifically tell what's going on if you wasn't there, if you wasn't in that situation. But so she said he emotionally destroyed her, right? He She said that. Let me see. So they was together for 7 years, right? And the thing is, right, when you deal with these type of individuals, like whether you date them or they're in your family, if they're if it's in Teyana Taylor's family, if she has these people in her family, she could have normalized his behavior. If he is a narcissist, you feel what I'm saying? She could have normalized his behavior, and then after a while, it started to show up, and she realized that it got overwhelmingly toxic. Because what she's saying could be absolutely true, but I'm just saying that I don't like to discount it because I've been in this situation where, a narcissist projected on me and said everything, because that's what they do. They'll say everything that they're doing, they'll say that you did it. They'll say that you trying to steal their spotlight. They'll say that you abused them. They'll say that you cheated on him. And she did say in here that there was some infidelity. You feel what I'm saying? She said privately, blah, 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 blah. So privately, she decided to. I would need more details to really determine. Also, it's not my situation. I'm just speaking on it because it's relevant to things that happen in my life. But I'm trying to be biased, what I'm saying, without jumping out the window. Because I can see both sides. I could see she could be lying. She could just, want to move forward, or she could have been cheating on him herself, and she decided to leave, or she could be a narcissist herself. She could be projecting. A lot of narcissists call people narcissists. So that's why it's hard. You know what I'm saying? That's why it's hard to really talk about these topics because you never really know unless you're in that situation. So I know we all like to jump on the bandwagon of different sides. People like to jump on the female side because they might be a female. People like to jump on the male side because they might be a male. You know what I'm saying? Most people don't stay right in the middle because everybody wants to pick a side, but we really don't know what's going on. Also, like I said, most people don't really know what narcissism is. So, um, The only thing you can really do after these type of situations is they can both go their ways, and whoever decides to work on themselves, they can work on themselves. But whoever, like, even if she's saying he the toxic one, right? He the toxic one. If he is, he not gonna go work on himself. So she just got to move forward and do what she got to do for herself. Vice versa. If she's saying it and she's capping and she's lying, then he just got to move forward. You know what I'm saying? And do what's best for him, even if she's lying. Because coming out and trying to like, she done got him all on the blogs and stuff. Coming out and trying to like defend yourself is only gonna make it worse for yourself in a sense when you're dealing with these type of individuals because they're very clever. But like I said, if he is that type of person, then he's not gonna go work on himself. He's gonna blame her. You know what I'm saying? He's gonna throw it back, and it's just I think it's always like a tough situation. Like it's always a tough situation when there's kids involved. Like there's a lot of people who get out these type of relationships and they just got to deal with the turmoil and the healing, which is tough because it's not like a normal situation. You're dealing with a psychologically damaged individual that's been trying to tear you down and been twisting and turning your brain, messing with your self-esteem and gaslighting you and all that good stuff. I think a lot of people on Twitter were basically saying that, narcissism, the word is overused, gaslighting is overused, toxic was overused. Like these words become trends. So people might see traits in somebody or they might see somebody do something and they might automatically throw that word on them. On top of the fact, let's keep it a thousand wowsing. Let's keep it a buck. There are a lot of people out here who are controlling themselves. And since they can't control that person and they've never worked on themselves, and all they know is to be confidently delusional and whatever they believe, even though that's not right or that's not conducive for the relationship, so they become so controlling that if they can't control this individual and this individual explains to them, like, all right, I'm not operating like that. You feel what I'm saying? I'm truly not operating like that. And you want me to fall in line to what you believe, which is toxic, but I'm not doing that. The person will automatically label them. Oh, this person is controlling, even though they're the controlling one. Oh, this person is the narcissist, even though they're acting narcissistic. I'm not saying they're a narcissist because, you know what I'm saying? I don't know if they have MPD. I don't know nothing about their whole situation. You feel what I'm saying? But yeah, I just think people not self aware. People just talking out the AWS. You feel me? And that's kind of what's going on with these situations. Like he could have been jealous. That don't mean he's a narcissist. He could be narcissistic. That don't mean he's a narcissist. There's so many different things. She could be lying. You know what I'm saying? She could have issues going on. She could be NPD. She could, she could be borderline. There's a lot of borderlines that project and it's very common for them to call their partner a narcissist and say that they were abusive and say that they were cheating when it's all projection. It's something that they were doing themselves, and then they leave and they say all of these heinous, crazy things and say they were abused and stuff like that. That's very common. Not saying that she is. I can't diagnose her. I can't diagnose him. I'm just saying that that's also a possibility um, in these type of situations because all of it, regardless of the labels, the NPD, the BPD, the histrionic personality disorder, all these different things, it all comes from a certain level of trauma. It all comes from, it's tied into generational curses and stuff like that. So they could just have they just like everybody else, just because they models and singers and stars and basketball players, they could have just this their first long term relationship. They never tapped into their childhood trauma. They never worked on themselves. Um, so now it's time for them to. It says right here that she tried to resolve it amicably. She tried to break up. You know what I'm saying? But then, so she had to go like privately to break it off because he didn't want to break it off. You feel what I'm saying? Who knows? Anything is possible. You know what I'm saying? I open my eyes to what's really going on in society. So like I don't just jump on one side based off of my own little personal experience because I could have just took her side because I'm a male, and I've also dealt with a woman who called me a narcissist or called me abusive, whatever the case may be, which was all cap. So I could easily take, but I'm looking at both sides. I'm looking at the fact that he could be, you know what I'm saying? Because some women do date toxic dudes, narcissist dudes, and they trying to tell their story and nobody believes it. You feel what I'm saying? Sometimes it's both parties that's toxic. Either way, Everybody need to work on themselves. They need to look at themselves and try to become the best version of themselves. Um, and it's unfortunate, but it's life. So I hope they can get through this. I hope they can heal from their relationship if they choose to. If one of them is a narcissist, they probably don't even have no empathy, and they probably got somebody else lined up. You feel me? But if either one of them not, then this is just two individuals that just got some trauma and now they yapping, throwing little labels around narcissist, gaslighting. Oh my god, blah blah blah. Anyway, continue to do what's best for y'all. You know what I'm saying? Continue to be you. It's your boy Josh Different. I'm different. You different. We different.